I stared at those words, the weight of them sinking in like a stone in my chest. The website wasn't just a trap, it was a prison, and I was the latest inmate. I tried to close the tab, shut down my laptop, even pull the plug, but nothing worked. The message stayed, glowing like a brand burned into my soul. I'm sharing this because you deserve to know, but maybe you shouldn't. There are things lurking behind that screen, secrets no one should uncover, dangers that don't just vanish when you look away. I've seen what happens to those who ignore the warnings, who think they can outsmart the darkness. The site still calls to me, whispering through the static, promising answers but delivering only despair. I don't know if anyone else has fallen into this trap, but I can feel it. There are others, lost like me, caught in the same endless loop. If you ever come across a link like this, if you see a site that feels wrong in your bones, don't click. Don't even look. Because once it knows you're there, it won't let go. And now, I'm left waiting for the next message, the next visitor, the next soul to join me in this digital nightmare. What happens next? I don't know. But if you want to find out, maybe you should stick around. So, that's my story. The haunted website that shouldn't exist, and the nightmare it dragged me into. If you've ever stumbled on something strange online, or felt like the internet was watching you back, I want to hear about it. Drop your theories, your experiences, or even your wildest guesses in the comments below. Just be careful what you click next. This isn't the first time we've uncovered something dark, and it probably won't be the last. Stay curious, stay cautious, and remember, some doors on the web are better left unopened. Until next time. I thought back to the stories I'd heard, cases dismissed as urban legends, warnings ignored by thrill seekers and skeptics alike. People who vanished after visiting cursed sites, their last online footprints filled with cryptic messages and desperate pleas. I had laughed at those stories once. Now, I was living one. The countdown I found wasn't just a timer, it was a warning, a deadline. The site was pulling me in, tethering me to a place I couldn't escape. I felt it in my bones, a cold weight pressing down, whispering that I was already halfway gone. I tried to tell myself it was just my mind playing tricks, that I could close the tab and walk away. But every time I tried, the site fought back. The messages grew more insistent, more personal. You belong here. Don't fight it. There's no escape. I even talked to Mark about it, trying to make sense of the nightmare. If you ever stumble upon this site, I told him, voice shaking, don't click anything. Don't even look. Just close your browser and walk away. Because once it knows you're there, it won't let go. But it was too late for me. The site had already marked me. And now, I'm trapped in this endless loop. Half here, half somewhere else. Waiting for the next message, the next visitor, the next soul to get caught in the web. I don't know if I'll ever escape. And honestly, I'm not sure I want to. Then, one night, it happened. The screen went black for a moment. And when it flickered back on, a new message was waiting, one that stopped my heart cold. It wasn't cryptic or vague. It was a direct, chilling command. You're not leaving. Ever. I also posted in a few deep web forums, trying to find anyone else who'd seen the site. That's when I stumbled on whispers, fragments of conversations about a cursed digital phenomenon, a website that wasn't just haunted but alive in some twisted way. There's something about this site that no one talks about, one user warned cryptically. It's not just a portal. It's a prison. Each new piece of information only made things worse. I found references to a shadowy group, something like a cult or secret society, that supposedly used the site to communicate with the dead. They believed the internet was a new kind of afterlife, a place where souls could get trapped between worlds. I tested the site's limits, trying to break it, close it, even ignore it. But the messages kept coming, growing more urgent, more personal. One night, a message appeared that chilled me to my core. You're not just a visitor. You're part of this now. I asked Mark if he wanted to see the site for himself. He hesitated, then agreed. When he saw the messages, his face went pale. This isn't just some creepy website, he whispered. It's something else. Something dangerous. That's when I uncovered the biggest secret of all, something buried deep in the site's code, hidden in plain sight. A name, a warning, and a countdown. The deeper I dug, the more the truth clawed its way out of the shadows, and it was worse than I ever imagined. This wasn't just some haunted website or a creepy prank. It was a digital purgatory, a trap designed to snare souls. Not just any souls, but those who stumbled too close, who clicked the wrong link, who dared to look behind the veil. I remember sitting there, staring at the screen as the pieces fell into place. The site wasn't just sending messages. It was feeding on fear, on curiosity, on the very essence of those who visited. It was a gateway, a prison for the lost, and a beacon for something far darker. The messages started revealing things no one should know. Details about my childhood, my fears, even secrets I hadn't told a soul. You hide your pain well. The ones you lost are closer than you think. I felt a cold shiver run down my spine. How could a website know this? I tried to type back, but the keyboard felt heavy, like I was underwater. Then the screen flickered, and a new message appeared. The veil is thin. You've crossed it. At that moment, I remembered a thread I'd seen months ago. Stories about a cursed site that supposedly connected the living to the dead. People said it was a trap, a digital purgatory. I never believed it. Until now. The messages kept coming, urgent and desperate. And I knew, deep down, this was only the beginning. After that night, I couldn't just walk away. I had to know what the hell was happening. So, I dove headfirst into researching the website, its origins, its creator, anything that could explain the madness. I started with the basics: domain registration, server location, even the code behind the pages. But every lead hit a dead end. The site was a ghost in the system. No owner, no trace, like it had been deliberately erased from the internet's memory. I reached out to Mark, hoping for some rational perspective. Dude, it's probably just a hacker messing with you, he said, skeptical but concerned. Maybe some creepy ARG or something. But even he sounded uneasy when I told him about the messages that knew things no one should know. The site loaded slowly, like it was stuck in some digital time warp. The design was glitchy and outdated. Pixelated images, flickering text, and a background that looked like static on an old TV. It felt like stepping into a forgotten relic from the early internet. But there was something off. The colors were too dull, the silence too heavy. I remember thinking, this is just some abandoned site, right? Nothing to worry about. But then the page started changing. Words appeared that I hadn't typed. Messages that seemed to respond to my thoughts. It was like the site knew things it shouldn't. Details about me, about my life, things I never shared online. Okay, This is weird, I muttered aloud, glancing at my phone to see if Mark was still online. Before I could even send a message, a new line blinked onto the screen. You shouldn't be here. If you think this sounds crazy, wait until you hear what came next. The moment those words, you shouldn't be here, blinked onto the screen, my heart slammed against my ribs like a warning bell. I stared at the message, half expecting it to vanish or for someone to pop up and say it was a prank. But it stayed there, glowing ominously in the flickering light of my laptop. Then, more words appeared, not typed by me, but by something else. I see you. You're not safe. They're watching. Each message was more cryptic, more personal. It was like the website was reaching through the screen, pulling at the edges of my mind. I tried to close the tab, but it wouldn't budge. The cursor hovered over the X, like it was frozen in place. I remember laughing nervously, trying to convince myself it was just some elaborate hack or a glitch. I've read stories like this before. People claiming haunted websites, cursed files, digital ghosts. Usually, they're just urban legends or viral hoaxes. But this felt different. Real. I never believed in ghosts until a website started talking to me. And now, I'm not even sure I'm alive. Sounds ridiculous, right? Like some late-night horror story you scroll past, convinced it's just fiction. But what I found there, no one should ever see. It wasn't just a glitch or a prank. It was something else. Something that didn't belong in this world. It all started on a night that was supposed to be ordinary. I was just killing time, browsing through random forums, half distracted and half bored. Then, out of nowhere, a link appeared in a thread I barely remember clicking. The site looked like it was stuck in the early 2000s. Grainy graphics, broken layouts, and a weird, unsettling vibe that made my skin crawl. I thought it was just some forgotten corner of the internet, a relic from a time before social media took over. But the moment I clicked in, everything changed. What I found there wasn't just strange, it was terrifying. And it's been haunting me ever since. It was one of those nights where nothing exciting was happening. Just me, my laptop, and the usual endless scroll through forums and social media. I was half listening to a podcast, half distracted by a group chat with some friends. One of them, Mark, was joking about creepy internet stuff, daring me to find the weirdest website I could. But you can't find something that actually freaks you out, he said. I laughed it off, but curiosity got the better of me. I started clicking through random links, diving deeper into obscure threads and forgotten corners of the web. That's when I stumbled on it, a link buried in a thread about urban legends, labeled simply as The Other Side. The URL was strange, a jumble of letters and numbers that didn't make sense. I hesitated for a second, but then clicked.